My goodness. Well, hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So glad to see everyone. Hi, Bora Bora. Inner Knowing. Who else? Karen's here. Karen Robinson. Maria has perfect health. Good to
Oh,
see everybody so far. And I'm with Diana. Diana and I are going to do our best to discuss this Scorpio full moon that is really going to enlighten a lot of things, especially out in the outer world. You may have this going on in your inner world, but well, I'm sure you do somewhere. It's in your chart. This is a powerful like hitter. This is Scorpio pulls up the underbelly, the things that are hidden. People want to believe stay hidden, right? But that's the whole point of the full moon. It illuminates things. It shines the light on it. And and as we know, and I'm just going to quickly go over, the politics are getting off their little bizarre, more so than usual. But that's kind of the culmination of this. I do believe something is going to expose a lot of things because of this moon as we travel further into the year. This moon has a square. Mercury just went into Taurus Friday, and it's squaring Pluto because they're both at 3 degrees. Now remember, Pluto's the only planet going retrograde right now. So there is a spiciness to conversations. Hi, Rush. Nice to see you here. Hi, Randy. Oh, it's so nice to see everybody.
Andy.
And that, that Mercury. Now, if you're talking and you're speaking in truth and integrity and you're honest, that's usually okay, even if it's a square, because you'll know when to say things and when not to say. You'll also know when people are not saying things that are true. So that really helps for people who are connected to their heart and soul. And thank you for being here. This is a beautiful spiritual higher consciousness community, and my goodness, I'm just so grateful for every one of you. Hi, Kim B. So we have, as usual, a lot of the goddesses are coming in, but the moon itself it's peeling off layers, like significant layers. Like you may not know, it's an emotional moon. It's a water sign. Scorpio goes deeper than anybody else. So cleaning out those cells, doing a little detox, a little release, a water ceremony would really help. Um, it, it's those deep emotional attachments that we ignore. Like we don't really want to. Yeah, I know it's over there, but I'm not gonna look at it. Well, that might come up to be looked at. Hi, Pamela Anderson. So it's called the flower moon, and it is, in Taurus, we plant our seeds, and across from Taurus is Scorpio. And those seeds are in the ground, in the dark, So whatever you did in the new moon in Taurus, this is good fertilizer. Like I said, I don't think a lot of us are going to be slaughtered by this moon, and I use that word deliberately because it will slaughter you if you're not in integrity. Don't you think, Diana? It can be deep.
It's deep. It is deep. It is.
Yeah.
This moon is, you know, in very tight proximity with Juno, and so now what we have to be doing with that in itself is to be re-examining our relationships, but not just
Mhm.
the relationships and partnerships with other people. Oh, well, the first and foremost is yourself. How many times do you get mad at yourself and call yourself names? And with Mercury being in that square with third and final square, but square with Pluto, it's like, oh God, here we go again.
Right. It does feel like that. It
Mm-hmm.
does.
Mm-hmm.
And it is, I want to say this too, it's a micro moon. So this is like the furthest away, and it's a power, it's still hitting. It's
Yeah.
very powerful.
When she
If
was
it
in the sky last night, it was banging in the window, but from way out there
way, yeah.
to the side. And that was about 2:30. And then the next time I woke was 3:45 or so. And I could barely see her. She
Wow,
was
yeah,
getting even farther away by then. So
yeah. And
from where I
Scorpio is the protector of the soul, so it helps us evolve, it helps us transform through emotions. It's a water sign again. It isn't subtle, it just isn't. Scorpio is pretty straightforward in the higher vibrations of Scorpio. And we see a lot of lower vibrations in Scorpio. There's all kinds of things that we can look to out in the external world that are definitely underhanded, but that higher vibration Scorpio will come in and make it expose it. Let me put it like that. Hi, Lauren Hunsiger. Hi, Annie Bear. Very strong energy today, right, Kimby? Whew.
yeah.
Yes, this is a very good one for moon water. This is like this is a powerful, it would be very powerful water.
Why
For
did I work with water today? Because I
yeah.
had to sterilize canning jars.
Mm.
And then I had to
That's
blanch Brussels.
Scorpio.
Then I
That's
had
all Scorpio. Yeah, sorry.
then I had to blanch Brussels sprouts. Then
See?
I had to load the jars for pickling. And then I had to put the brine into the jars. And then I
Mm-hmm.
can the jars in a hot bag
Mm-hmm.
that they would seal. All 4 quarts have sealed. And then with those that I had blanched, I put 2 meals aside just in the freezer for future use. So all you got to do is throw some salad dressing on them because they're blanched. By the time they thaw out, they're going to be soggy. Or put a little roast on them in the oven, whatever. So all of that was working with a lot of water, preserving the food angle, the nutritional angle, while throwing away the water that's been boiled and no longer functions for anything.
Mm-hmm.
If the pot hadn't have been so heavy, trust me, I would have taken it outside. But my canning pot is humongous. So
And it would have been good for the soil, right? Because
yeah,
all that water, it is good. Like you can
yeah.
do anything, take a shower and put, scrub
Well, yeah,
Epsom salt or salt on you.
you're right. Except, well, there's no exception. Yes, you could do all of those things. But I had extra salt in the water and extra vinegar in the water to make sure that the jars themselves came out of the bath clean. Because
Right.
vinegar cleans glass, and I have well water, so it can sometimes leave a demarcation.
Mm-hmm. And Scorpio it's about transformation, is a rebirth. It is it is accelerated growth, I think we all do, whether we know it or not. We always are in tune with the moons and doing our emotional releasing. Rush says that is bawling and emotional quite a bit more than expected this full
Sure.
moon. I've
Well,
been kind of cranky. I've been cranky.
here's another aspect of it. We have 2 yads in the sky, and those yads
Right.
are combined with conjunctions from the points through the legs. And what is a yad? But it is a quincunx that forms this 180 degrees this way and 50 degrees this way. So
It's
it's like a constant adjustment.
it's
So
the tall,
every time,
skinny triangle, right? The tall, skinny triangle.
tall, skinny triangle.
Okay.
So every time we think we got it right, we like ride over the railroad tracks and knock the radio off the station. And so it's like a constant being aware. Now, let me explain the first one. I've already said about the moon and Juno being conjunct for this for this day. You know, the moon is going to be even closer to Juno, and like, you know, like probably right now. I haven't
Probably
looked.
right now, right? Yeah.
Right. So in that conjunction, you have Jupiter at 23 degrees of Gemini in a quincunx to the conjunction. And from the other side, we have Chiron, the wounded warrior, and Xena Eris, battle star queen. We're going to get revenge, or are we going to keep working at it? So here we go with this quincunx shaping the yod. And in order to get that partnership correct and watch our emotions, we have to keep adjusting the dial. Now, Juno's going to stay in that part. You know, she moves, but she doesn't move that fast. So she's going to be creating this yod on her own once the moon begins to travel on. Even tomorrow, it's going to be out of range because they're at 22 degrees, 24 degrees at the time of the moon. So Jupiter, and Jupiter in Gemini is about getting wisdom and conversation and revealing, letting things out. And then with Chiron and Eris, it's about, okay, where do you need to take up the sword? And I use the term, you know, just as a metaphor. I'm not saying anything about that. It's just a metaphor. What do you need to continually fight? So the other thing is we have this innate responsibility to have a relationship with our doctors, but that's the whole point. It's called a relationship. And if they don't listen to you, then maybe it's not a good relationship. Nobody else lives inside your body but you. So when you explain something and they don't get the message, we have to explain it together. Now, the other yod that's up in the sky is from Xena, Eris, and Chiron down to the south node in Virgo. What do we need to let go of?
Let go.
And then down to Estrella in Sagittarius. And in that, now I've lost it. Here we go. Oh my gosh. I'm sorry. I said Estrella. That's not right. Estrella's involved today, but that's not where she's involved. The other one goes to the south node and to the moon and Juno from the healing, Venus and Chiron being together. That is pointing to, but I know that this is what's working, and I know that this is what is not working. And I love myself enough to have this conversation with me, with a professional if you need it. But this is the inner healing of so many things. It's emotional. So it is baggage we carry with us. It's our shadow work. It's all of that business. This is a full moon. The shadow is visible. So it is healing ourselves with what we know about ourselves, our own wisdom, our gut feeling. Your gut tells you what you need to avoid. You eat something that makes you feel bad, don't eat it. Even if it doesn't show up on a chart as an allergy, your body's telling you something. You're going to wait till you get so sick. So those two things are going on. But then those same angles of that turn into a yod also have a parallel. The straight line between Jupiter and the moon Juno. And then when we look over, we look at the Vulcan Sun Uranus Hygeia conjunction. And what is Hygeia? That's more about healing with
that's the important one. Go ahead. I mean, they're all important, but to me, this is powerful. Yeah.
Right. And that is all conjusted in Taurus. And that is across from Estrella. And what is Estrella? Justice. So it's telling the story, whether it's to yourself or somebody else, to get them to understand or help you figure it out, because you know your gut is telling you this is what it is. So Estrella is justice. And she's in Sagittarius right now, but Estrella is part of Virgo, and this gets very complicated. But what is so interesting that is that there is a transfer. Yeah, there's a transfer of power between Virgo to Libra to Scorpio, where our moon is. The claws of Scorpio also represent the scales for Libra. And Estrella, who is one of the goddesses associated with Virgo, is holding the scales in Virgo. So it is a very powerful conjunction through there. I shouldn't say conjunction. It is a very powerful transition, because those three have this connection. Ophiuchus is above that Libra. And who is he? He's the father of modern medicine. He was taught by Chiron, and Chiron fostered him. And then he became the mother. Ophiuchus became the mother of Hygeia. And I know you've heard me say a million times, she's smarter than her dad. Well, he nurtured her. He gave birth to her. How did he do that? The same way Jupiter gave birth to Juno, out of his mind. So she's the one he went to for the science behind something. So again, we have your gut telling you how to handle this. If nobody else can figure it out, your gut is talking to you. And it is all about this healing. Because Hygeia at 26 degrees is only going to get closer and closer to Sedna at 0 degrees of Gemini, showing you again how to let go of the boat, how to adapt, and how to sacrifice what no longer serves your purpose. So it actually looks like a game of tic-tac-toe when we look at those two parallels, because we have lines going across. That line, it goes from, at the time of the moon, it went from the rising sign, the horizon, the point on the horizon that was 24 degrees of Libra, across to 25 degrees of the North Node in Pisces. Okay, so that's another quincunx. And in that quincunx, we've got this line running through the top third of a tic-tac-toe board. And then when I look at the bottom of that, we have Estrella at 21 degrees, a little cattywampus, like a 4-year-old drew the tic-tac-toe board, going over to Parts Fortune at 24 degrees in Aquarius. So now we have a tic-tac-toe board. And how many times do we turn up with cat's eyes playing tic-tac-toe? 3 zeros and 3 X's. So it is that brings us back to the yod and the adjustment that needs to be done. The same adjustment that needs to be done with the quincunx.
So And all of that, it is about that internal healing, right? That's all that Hygeia. We have Uranus is can't predict Uranus. He's sitting right next to the sun with Hygeia, and Algol's right there. I don't know if this is true. I just got this sent to me. The ICC is charging Trump and some cabinet members.
With?
I didn't want to listen to because we're live. But,
you have to listen to.
But this is, I was saying this earlier. Well, my guides were showing me that this is a big tower moment. This full moon in Scorpio, right around it was going to be, and we hear crazy stuff all day and have for the last 105 days or however long it's been. But and then with that square, we have that Pluto in Aquarius squaring Mercury in Taurus. Right next to that Mercury is Icarus. Icarus flew too close to the sun, right? And he gets kind of booted because it's his ego, right? His ego, he is really what that means when you fly too close to the sun. And you end up injuring yourself because you are too full of yourself. But let's hope that's all true. Maria of Perfect Health says, I got to use, was it you who said it? More of my Scorpio. There is no way that you're not. I need to work with my Scorpio sun. You are always working with your Scorpio sun. Everybody, and remember this, whether Scorpio is your sun sign or somewhere else in your chart, that part of you, that house that it's in, really gives you that instinct to understand things on layers that are below words. You know, Scorpio works on frequency and understands things deeply, quickly. So you are always doing that, Maria. And the Phoenix transformation, that's exactly what's going on, and it's been going on for months. The last time we had a Scorpio new moon was November 1st, 2024, 4 days before that fateful day we all had to endure. So I kept seeing that, and I kept seeing the time when the Israelis went for the Palestinians, and that was October 7th, 2023. And that also was a new moon in Scorpio. Or I'm not sure about that. Don't let me say that. There was a Pluto transition happening, and I'm not sure what it was. But I remember saying this at the time, that it was a perfect time to start a war for those who have that mindset. And I'm hoping that this is kind of the ending of that, but we'll see. That's just kind of something I keep receiving. But as we're talking about all this healing, all this stuff, let's look at it individually. Hi, Ron, Unconditional Love. Hi, Amanda Carroll. Aw, so nice to see everybody.
Judith Anderson, she's here too.
And Ginny's here. Wait, who did you say? I'm sorry.
Judith Anderson.
Judith Anderson, hi. Oh, so good to see everybody. So that part, go ahead.
Well, I was just looking at the 3 degrees of Mercury over there in a 30 degrees to 1 degree Neptune in Aries. You know, that's the bookends. They're talking to each other.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, and what is Neptune is, okay, let's reshape this dream.
Yes. Hi, Cheryl.
Okay. He's in Aries. And then he's also conjunct that Venus. So, you know, we got so much going on in this. It's unbelievable.
It's off the charts, literally off the charts. And I know we've been saying this for a while, but this is the time of year, Diane and I were saying, it is going to ramp up. This is going to be an entire year is going to ramp up like this. This is kind of like the starting point, because we've been watching seemingly everybody just not caring. It doesn't matter what's going on. Nobody's stopping things, whatever, you know. well, all that Mars is cleared, that today Saturn is at 29 degrees Pisces, the last degree of the zodiac. This is about to get real because he goes into Aries, Saturn does, on the 24th.
Yep.
So he's going to sit there from 12 more days on that 29 degree, and it just kind of like pressurizes things. Okay, it's extremely pressurizing because, and when I'm saying this about the external world. For us internally, we are, I mean, I believe most people here have been doing their shadow work, have really gone in and healed a lot of the layers within us. We healed lifetimes of things.
Well,
And just in this lifetime.
I like the sun being conjunct Uranus on the 17th. That's, that's still in that high range, right? I mean, there's still all this healing. This is our being able to take charge and do it ourselves, trusting our own wisdom all the way through this.
And that's a good point you made, though, because okay, the sun is 22 degrees today. Uranus is 26. So that's 4 days. And that is on what you said, the 17th.
Yes, it'll be at 27 degrees and 17 minutes.
So those 4 days going up to that are powerful, and the 4 days after that. So I'd say 8 to 10 days, because that Uranus is it's a wild card. It's next to the sun. You don't know what can happen throughout that time frame. Again, I'd say from today, 8 to 10 days. We're going to hear a lot of things in this world about, don't forget, this is Taurus. We're talking.
Oh, yeah, because Mercury is going to be squaring Mars on the 18th.
Wow, yep. And I mean, it's just
the other ruler of Scorpio.
Right. And it's just ramping up, right? This is kind of that demarcation point where, okay, everything's cleared. Everybody's ready to go. Everybody is going. Everybody's cleared to actually speak their truth. The planets have been holding all that back, and there's been a lot of confusion and, fogginess for the longest time. I'd say from January until just this last week. So this is important that we understand it is on now. And and the astrology is this off the charts, like we said, and it's going to stay that way. It's going to remain that way out to the end of the year through next year.
Well,
it is life-altering, epic astrology that we're all living through. History. We're living through history.
For the sun's final act with Saturn, she's going to be sextile Saturn on the 20th, as Saturn makes his egress, finishes up at 29 degrees and 37 minutes.
Say that one more time. I'm sorry.
The sun will be sextiling Saturn on the 20th.
That's good.
That's the final act of Saturn in Pisces with the sun, right? Because what is going to happen there, the sun is getting ready to go into Gemini. We're talking 29 degrees and 37 minutes. So you just got a couple more hours and the sun will be in Gemini.
Oh, wow. Okay. And then when the sun goes into Gemini,
it's going to be on Sedna. So it's already, you see, this theme is medicine, healing, fixing yourself.
Yeah.
Do what's right for you. No two bodies are the same. Even twins don't have the same rising sign.
That's right.
I mean, well, they could still have the same rising sign, but they're 10 minutes apart, which can change the whole chart.
Yes. Now remember that. And that once that sun goes into Gemini on the 19th, 20th, that's where you're going to start hearing everything, things that have been hidden. So you see, this stuff plays out in layers, and
will be more apparent.
Right. And this is like the beginning tonight is the beginning, or today is the beginning of the tower crumbling.
Mhm.
And that's just anything, and I'm not just saying politics, anything not in integrity cannot exist going forward. You have to match the frequency, and the frequency on the planet is raising. We're raising in frequency. That's how come we're awake and we understand a lot of what's going on. Being heart and soul connected, right? That's going to be, for those who aren't at that point yet, this is going to be their initiation to that connection to their heart. I mean, that's just always is going to evolve in and out like that, right? But this to me is a powerful day. And even though, you know, I know Diana and I have said that, and every time we come back, it's another understanding of the depth of what we are experiencing in this time of on planet Earth, and we're all a part of that. You know, it's really cool.
You know, every day is a new normal. I learned that a million years ago, right? So that's the one thing that we can count on is change.
Yeah, Ron.
Yeah, it's good to see you, pal.
I know. 8 to 10 days from today, that's that. I was talking about the Sun and Uranus because they're going to be exact on the 17th. So you got to build up. Remember, astrology is about building up, then coming to an exact, and then moving away. But that takes with the Sun. It'll be 8 days, 8 to 10 days. You're going to feel that energy. That Uranus is sitting with Hygeia, that Diana was talking about healing, about the inner healing, which is also sitting on the star called Algol, which is, they want to call it a demon star, but in reality, it was the divine feminine being silenced, but she comes back and she rights the wrong in her own way. Okay, it's not a horrible way. What they did to her was horrible. Medusa. She ends up freezing people, and they would cut her head off and would have her look at people, you know, and it was pretty brutal. But it's all meaning. It's a story. The meaning is transformation. These deep transformations.
It's
right?
how jealousy can kill you. It can eat you up because it was Vesta's jealousy that created that whole scenario. And what had happened to that beautiful maiden, Medusa, she was assaulted by Neptune and raped. And Vesta blamed her for it. Now, what does that sound like? But getting back to healing, no matter what it is, the one I always look to is Hygeia. The others are important. That all will give you a hint and an idea of how to go about it for yourself. But Hygeia is where you can find a lot of answers.
Yeah. And she's right with the Sun. Well, she's right with Uranus, and the Sun is coming up to her too.
Yeah.
So the same
thing. Right, exactly. So it's going to continue and continue.
And you said, well, Sedna is still at 0 degrees Gemini. So when the Sun gets to 0 degrees Gemini, now Sedna takes like 11,400 years to go around the Sun once. So she's
only 49 minutes.
Yeah, she's not.
And she's been there since January. So, or
longer than that. Last January, we brought that up. You brought that up like a year.
I don't think it was January, but it was sometime in 2024, like March or something like that. It was a long time ago. So she moves very, very slowly. She spends 40 years in one sign.
And
Pluto spends 18 to 20. So she's slower than Pluto.
And she was another goddess who was destroyed out of no fault of her own by a male. Now, I don't like to bring in
Several. Her
Mhm.
father being one of them. So who do
Yeah,
you trust? You have to trust yourself. What is it you have to do? Sacrifice, let go. And then
that's
you adapt. And so her adaptation made her queen of the ocean, the under the water. She's the mermaid of mermaids. Her phalanges and digits became the sea creatures, the dolphins, the whales, the squid, the octopus, the angelfishes, you name it, she created it.
Mhm.
Her hair is all of the tentacles. So,
And
and this is what we all do. And that's we're not just saying females only. No, because
right.
all are divine feminine and divine masculine. And we have to find the balance of that within ourselves in order to be able to shine that light to the world, so that, man, it's hard being a light worker. There is nothing about that statement that isn't true, right?
It's
Every
hard.
single one of you know that,
Yeah,
because it's up one day and down the next, and
yeah.
you try to
Constant.
keep everybody else on an even keel, and then you forget about yourselves. So it's like that, what they tell us over and over: put your life vest on first, put your
Mhm.
on first,
That's
because you
right.
won't be able to save anybody if you don't save yourself.
That's right. That's so true. I mean, and that's, that's what all of this astrology is saying. This is all this full moon tonight. And Algol is a fixed star. It's at 26 degrees Taurus. So we all have it in our chart somewhere. It's right on my IC. And I have 26 degrees Scorpio on my MC, my midheaven. So and if you look at it, that Algol, the Medusa thing, and having a hard, just having a hard uh, life in a lot of respects, that was there, and I didn't know that while I was going through things. I didn't know even my chart until just last 10 years or so. But it's amazing when you see yourself in your chart, and everybody can, and I mean, it is everything, all the details about you are in there.
Right.
And if Diana does readings, I do readings. Diana also does Akashic Records readings. And I mean,
Tarot,
she's
mediumship.
she's all over it. Yeah, she's got it all going on. So, and her information is in the description box below. And this is a really good time, though, and I'm not just saying this because her and I are astrologers. I mean, you could get a reading from anyone, but this is a really good time to look at your chart, because there's indicators everywhere in there right now on what is your next best step.
It's
How
your
to
self-help
right.
guidebook.
It really is. I mean, it's unbelievable how accurate it is. And we are all being transformed like the phoenix. We are not going to be the same we were. We can look at that now. We're even different than a year ago. We're so different than 10 years ago. You look back at yourself and you're like, wow, so much has gone on in that time. I mean, but this is I'm bringing this up because that Scorpio part, gotta love every part of yourself, even the crappy mistakes you may have made in your history. That not having a balance with that, and a love for that Valerie or that Diana, it can really hold you back, hold your healing journey back. It is so important to love that every aspect of you going back since your birth. We've been on this planet this whole time, and this has been a training ground. We didn't all know that. Maybe the last 10 or so years we figured it out. But as we become the leaders of this new era, the way you do that is by clearing out. And It's not about perfection. You know, we got to have empathy for those parts of us that have made mistakes. And it's not even it's a mistake. It's not a mistake. We all, there's nobody here that's done anything perfectly every moment of the day. And that's just the way it is. And it's okay. We learn by failing. We learn by making mistakes, you know, and that's something that they don't even like us to say out loud in this reality.
Well, right. And you know, then we can also bring in the Saturn return, because the Saturn return is every 7 years. The full return, squaring each corner, which is like maybe hard to understand because we use a pie chart, but the first square, you're 7 years old. You've reached the age of reason. It's called that for a reason. And, you know, I've said it before. This is where you're going to say, I've watched my dad do this. My mom tells me to keep my hand out of the flame of the candle. I'll get burned. But my dad can pass his hand through it. So the kid puts his hand in it and holds it there, and he gets burned because he doesn't know the trick yet. He'll figure out the trick by the time he gets to be 14, the next 7-year itch. And when he gets there, he's going to understand by observation. Dad goes quickly through it. The heat is not on the inside of the flame. The heat is on the outside of the flame. So he passes his hand so fast that he doesn't feel it. Then you go the next 7 years to that itch. Now you've got to be 21, and now you've had a couple jobs, graduated high school, maybe even graduated college, on to doing other things, looking at getting an apartment for sure. And maybe you've already done that, but you're understanding responsibility. So when you get to that 28, which is back where you were when you started out, now you've got wisdom of making a complete square, which is what do we talk about? Squares and oppositions as the challenge that you rise to in order to learn some of your best lessons. When we have trines and sextiles, we are in a place where we have support around us. So it seems to be easy breezy. And when we have these quincunxes, we know we're on the right track, but we got to make an adjustment. Like learning how to shoot pool. If you don't hit that bank right, you're not going to run the 8-ball straight down to the pocket.
That's right. All that geometry takes time. Does for sure.
Yep.
And but that's life. Hi, Rossi. I mean, it all takes time and experience. That's how we got to where we are. You know, it isn't like this is the end of the road. We're still going to evolve. And that is another thing with Scorpios, that transformation. You turn into the phoenix, you burn to ashes, and you come back stronger.
Who said that earlier? Maria has perfect health, that she still work on her phoenix?
Yes, her work on her Scorpio, yes. She did. Wow, what happened? Can you hear me?
No, you were just talking about that. So
yeah, and the phoenix, like I used the thumbnail. I've been using that phoenix thumbnail like a lot in the last couple months. And it wasn't even anything to do with Scorpio. It might have been Pluto, but Pluto is sitting on my Jupiter, my last degree of the 12th of my 12th house. Hi, Karen Doyle.
So Phoenix has a bit of a pterodactyl feel to it, like that stage in between pterodactyl and bird.
And isn't that interesting? Well, that's interesting because Scorpio is one of the only sign that has three representations of it: the scorpion, the phoenix, and the eagle. So that eagle, once you raise up in that understanding of being that neutral observer and observing things instead of, you know, the scorpion is just going to attack, you know, because it feels threatened, you know. The phoenix, constant. I mean, it's constant. We're always having a death rebirth. That's also a Scorpio thing, you know. And that death rebirth, it doesn't mean you physically die. It means a aspect of you, a belief will change, and that is the death of that belief. And you come in with a new belief, right? Into something to replace it. And that's the important thing to understand right now. Anything that is coming up to be released, if it's extremely painful part of your history, replace it. Replace it with something that you rather prefer. So a feeling. Okay, now don't forget Scorpio is a water sign. A feeling you would rather prefer. None of us want to walk around feeling like we're losers. Like, you know, I did this thing a long time ago and I can't forgive myself. And I just can't. I don't even want to look at it. Don't even want to think about it. That's what holds us down and holds us back from burning to the ashes and rising again. It's important to allow yourself, to give yourself a pardon, to give yourself a free pass at, I'm just human. Of course, I was going to make mistakes. Of course, you know, I wish I hadn't, but I did. And I'm going to love that version of me and move on. We can't park there. We parked 20 years back and we never move. And that's a hard thing to learn. I know it was for me, and it you know, it doesn't get easier every time something else kind of wiggles its way up into my awareness. I'm like, oh man, another one, you know, I gotta. And so and it's not like, oh, I'm excited I made a mistake, but it is at that moment. It's like, okay, I see you, I acknowledge you, I love you, I'm releasing you, I'm letting you go. And as I do that, I free myself to move forward, right? Don't you think that's basically Scorpio in a nutshell, I would say.
Yeah, we're, you know, there's a lot of stuff coming up through the 22nd through to the end.
Yes, ma'am.
Mercury is going to be a big player because he's going to go into Gemini. And when he's going to go into Gemini on, let me be sure, is on the 25th. He goes in on the 25th, but he's going to be conjunct Uranus on the 24th. So that's a big player.
Wait, who is? I'm sorry. Mercury? Yeah.
Mercury. And so then the 24th also has several events. We got the Sun trining Pluto. That's a big deal. That's support with Pluto in Aquarius, right? And then we have the Sun also sextiling Neptune that same day.
Oh, wow.
We're starting to realize the new dream. It's taking shape. It's not going to happen overnight. It's how many times on the dream show, just the other day I was on with Terry and I was able to show the representation of 3 dreams that were months apart that all went together.
Yeah.
And one led to the other. And that's the way this is going to work. But the Sun is supporting that Neptune to give us the warmth, the understanding of, okay, how do we take care of this? And just be patient with ourselves. And then through the 24th is big because of that Pluto. And then we also have Mercury conjunct Uranus talking and, you know, flashing moments that are like, oh my God, okay, if I do this, this is going to work out. Whether you're building a box or building something new for your life, right? And then Saturn at the last of the day enters Aries.
On it, yeah. That's going to be a powerful day. You're going to
Yep.
feel those for you. Well, probably from the 20th to the 25th. We're going to feel those.
Yeah.
Well, shoot, longer than that.
Well, he does it at 11:35, so it's almost the 26th.
Oh my
But
God.
you know you're going to be feeling that. We're already feeling it.
Yeah, we
We're
are.
already feeling it. He's at that 28 degrees and of Pisces. So what has he got? He's got a little bit of a wedge over there with the galactic center. What can we push down that black hole?
Yeah. And oh, and another one, Diana did bring us up, the South Node is in Virgo. Now, the South Node is where we're releasing things.
Mm-hmm.
North Node is our way forward. It's in Pisces. We're going into the spirit. Well, we're already there in the spiritual reality. You know, we're connected to our heart and our soul again, right? Well, that South Node is the old that we're releasing, the old, the things that need healed, right, are coming up to be released. And here's this full moon is actually to help.
Right. So right now we have the sun in a sextile over there to the North Node and a trine to the South Node. So this is support for what you feel today. Since we are talking about the sun that moves quickly, 1 degree a day, and the moon that moves quickly, and even the ascendant moves quickly through the day. Every 2 hours, you got
every 2 hours.
So, you know, like a couple of hours ago, I all of a sudden was going fighting myself. You know, which way to go next? What do I? Well, it was because the rising sign entered something that wasn't jiving with me. You know.
I think it's when it entered Virgo.
Yeah, and that's when I looked. I went, "Oh, that's because I'm trying to perfect this, and I need to go to the store and buy new canning jars. We're using what I got."
Right.
Oh, right. I only had 2 legit ring tops, but they all sealed, so it's all going to be good. Besides that, it's pickles.
Yum, pickles. I've been living on pickles. Oh my God.
Right?
Pickles. My goodness.
Right.
Kim B says that explains the surreal feeling. Yes.
Yes.
It
well,
really
that Neptune and Pisces stuff, but also Uranus, because Uranus is a dreamer also. That Uranus is like it has to have a vision of where and what and how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
It's an engineer.
Yeah, it really does.
You have to know your materials as well. Yes. Right, Ron. That's so true. Nothing is. In fact, Henry Ford I, God love his little soul, said, "A mistake is nothing more than an opportunity to start over."
That's it. But our society is so brutal. I do too. I love that, Kim. It's so brutal to us. I mean, they're brutal to kids. You did that wrong. You get an F, or whatever. And you're like, what the hell? It is, and that's another layer of this. The societal conditioning that has suppressed us is coming up to be examined with this Scorpio. And if a lot of the political stuff's going to come up, I really think this is the beginning of the fall of the tower is coming through.
Well, and in this we can watch, especially around the 25th, when Mercury goes into his sign. He's going to enter Gemini. And so he's going to, not Gemini, sorry. Yes, he enters Gemini that day. Then he goes sextile to Saturn on the 25th. And then he goes sextile to Neptune on the 26th. And then he trines Pluto on the 27th. And then the sun is conjunct Mercury on the 30th. So,
yeah. And it's Cazimi, like that Cazimi, with the sun and Uranus on the 17th, that is going to be, like Diana just said.
Well, and I'd be watching for earthquakes
Spicy.
and volcanoes to be erupting through that time there, because
Yes.
Uranus is also a player in this. And with Mercury, there can be combustion because Mercury is changing. You know, he's mutable, and Uranus is fixed. And Uranus doesn't want to move till this part is done. And Mercury says, no, you got to leave that for now and go do this, because then you got someplace to put that, which will help you put it back together. So, and Uranus is one of those planets that is able to detach emotionally. So he'll argue, but he's not doing it with anger. He's just, this is the way it's got to be, or else, you know.
This is it. Yeah,
but it's not because he's going to smack you, although it might. You might get caught in the crossfire. But
Uranus rules Aquarius, so they're like, yeah, okay. They'll discuss it with you on the intellectual level before they go to smack you.
Yeah.
Scorpio will sting you first, baby. Just depends. Cheryl says, I always get a headache or some type of malaise during the full moon. Yeah, that's normal. Both Diane and I worked in restaurants and we're bartenders, and I can tell you for a fact, full moon nights where
the cops would just sit parked in the parking lot.
You can't even believe it.
Especially when I was working a cowboy bar in Calgary.
Oh my God. Yeah. Oh my God. Especially if it was one of those. It was just interesting. It was an interesting social experiment. And that's what really got me into astrology way back then, because the full moon's here, and I'd be like, wow, this is crazy. Yeah. And then, you know, you do that a few times and you're like, there must be something to this astrology stuff, you know, even though I read my horoscope, I didn't understand.
Yeah. Rick Levine in the newspaper daily, or Sydney Omar, depending on
my goodness.
And then Ann Ortley, she was in the newspaper also. So yeah, they've all had their stint doing the daily grind.
Yeah, but that's true. I mean, this is the whole point of full moons, is to purge, right? Yeah. I think that's what I named this, like something about the primordial purge or something. It really is that deep. It is hidden. You know, Scorpio is also the one that, you know, hidden things. You don't know what you don't know. You don't even, how many times has this happened to you? Something is just bugging me. There's this thing comes up out of me, and I'm like, wow, I didn't even know I was upset about that, or that this bothered me, or affected me in some way. That's what the full moon does, and in a Scorpio full moon times 30. So it's crazy when you see it in action and you notice it. You know, hi Millie.
Hi Millie.
Good to see you.
Nice. Thumbnail, Millie. I love that.
Let me see. I know. Oh yeah, she's got a good channel too. And go visit everybody's channels. Diana's got her channel going.
A little bit. I haven't been able to host yet. I know Sally's busy, so she's not here, and I'm not. And I'm going to try to reach out to her in a couple of days. Nobody can stream, but I also cannot see the chat. So I'm using my phone. You see me looking down or typing into the chat. It's because I'm using my phone. Right. So maybe she can help me figure out how to follow the chat when I'm hosting, which would be a big plus. But anyway, so I do have a show coming up with Gerald and Sister Mary Linda de Gonzalez. And she's going to take the reins. I was supposed to host, but too much that I cannot do with the version of StreamYard that I have. So she's going to take the reins and host that day.
Yeah, I mean,
yes,
I have the same one, and I don't have, you know, I just have the basic StreamYard.
Yeah, me too.
And it's okay. I mean, but she can't stream on here. Like, we can't stream on each other's shows because it costs you $40 a
Oh my
month.
gosh, it's pricey. It's pricey. And
So,
I got a water problem to fix, like we all do, and it's costly, but it's something that has to be addressed because now this is an astrology lesson. This is Neptune in Pisces. This was how many of us had water issues while Neptune was still in Pisces?
oh my gosh.
Right?
The whole last couple of
And
years.
had to go back and repair again and
Yep.
repair a third time
Yep.
when Pisces was when Neptune was going forward, then went retrograde. I had to do it the second time. He went again and then came back again retrograde. When he went retrograde the second time, I just put a whole new roof on. The heck with this. Chasing a leak around that you really don't know where it is. So now all of that is repaired and there's a brand new roof. And then this bathroom that I wasn't in denial of it, but I was watching this crack and I knew that these folks had issues with water because it happened with the roof. So I was watching this crack in the kitchen and it's from the master bathroom. And quite honestly, it's too small for me. I need to spread out. I'm a Gemini. I'm a Sagittarius moon. I'm a Libra rising. I need to have some space. And I got that Aries North Node as well. I need to spread out. So I don't shower in there. So it had quite an opportunity to dry out. And I would turn the water on just to run the pipes.
Right, Leah.
But you only do that for 20 minutes and you don't turn it on full blast like your son does when he comes to spend the weekend, a week with you, and goes and takes a shower when he gets off the plane. So he's staying in that room and he's using the master bath. And I said, yes, I ran the water yesterday. It should be great. And I'm sitting and I was doing a show or reading cards or something for somebody. And I had this gut feeling, you're going to hear a noise and it's going to be the water.
Yep.
Half an hour later, the ceiling in the kitchen was pouring water onto the floor.
I've been there.
Because it had dried out enough to show exactly where the leak was. And it's a broken shower pan. Just a shower stall. So the tile walls got to come out. Everything's got to come out. And so it's a pricey fix, but it's got to happen because I'm not going to stay here forever. You know, I already knew that coming in. But I wanted to be close to family and I wanted to be able to, throw the family dinners and do the family things and be able to have people spend the night because it's an hour drive to go home. And if you have too many cocktails, then you better spend the night. So anyways, we've all had those issues. Now as in Aries, I'm able to take care and take action on it because it was shown to me with the last moments of Neptune in Pisces, how bad it really was.
And everything would be out of Pisces soon except the North Node. That's Saturn's the last thing. Well, Ceres is tracking with Saturn. What do you think about that, Ceres and Saturn and Pisces?
Ceres? Well, what do we have in Saturn? We have him as the Hierophant, the father figure, the school principal.
Go ahead.
And we have Ceres as the harvester. So they're going together trying to solidify plans, knowing that you have to water the garden. You got to put the seeds in. You got to water if you germinate them first and get little plants and put them in, you better be careful with those little plants. So how do you go about this? You have to pick and choose your seeds carefully and know how to tend to them. And then you make a plan. You got to know what crops grow together. So you have to engineer with the two of them. It's the final outcome is definitely important.
Yeah.
So in the early days, the early degrees of the sign, is when you get your materials together and begin the labor, but the real labor doesn't come till you get to the harvesting.
That's true. Yep. And that Saturn has been in Pisces for 3 years, so he is transformed too. You know, that's that. He's still all of those things Diana said, but now he's going to be a little more, I think, compassionate, heart-centered.
Oh, in Aries?
Yes.
He's going to be more of a, he's going to take less shit. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. But,
you know,
yeah.
What happened to him in Pisces is shifting foundations, shifting boundaries. And now that he's going into Aries, he can put a perimeter on things. Know where to put the sandbags so the water doesn't go beyond the shoreline so far that it drowns the houses on the shore. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Right? And Aries is ruled by Mars, and Mars is the take action planet. So there's a better idea of how to go about this. The thing is he has to stay in integrity, or he's not going to provide what needs to be provided by a good Hierophant. And look at it this way. We just got a new Pope.
Yes.
So whether you're a practicing Catholic or a recovering Catholic or don't give a squat about religion, there's a new Pope, and he is a world leader because he governs the Vatican. That's a 1 mile square country.
26 mile circumference.
Yep.
Crazy, isn't it? 1 mile across or something like that. I can't remember.
It goes from a postage stamp to being like, oh my God, he's got this whole territory and he's the ruler of that territory.
It goes all down far too. Yeah. I mean, it's more of that heart-centered leadership, I'd say. The soul-centered, humanity. You know, you actually have a soul and a heart. You're not just, looking at people like they're just a number and get to work. That to me is going away in our new era, right? Because we're creating a new era. We're just dipping our toes into it. We're not even fully there yet. But that part of Saturn, just like that part of Mars changed significantly last 7 months. Hi, Callie Healer. Good to see you. It's so good to see you.
Partner in crime. All my partners in crime are sitting here.
Yeah. Hi, Leah. Leah's here.
Yeah.
Leah's, yeah. Maria has perfect health. Her entire backyard had to be dug up. Yep.
Chi-town poop. Chi-town poop. Hooray. You know what he was doing when he was a teenager. And he's only 69 years old. So he's younger than me.
Yeah, I agree with that, Leah. I think Neptune and him took some time to discuss the situation.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I tell you, it's been interesting watching everything unfold. You know, we just go back to 2020. You know, that's when the astrology just started being, unbelievable. Every day there's new changes, but there are new changes coming in. So to help us create this new era, right? That doesn't, by all appearances on the outside world, because of who is the old guard, are trying to keep it the same as the old, how'd that go? Same as the old boss. It's not going on. We are not in that anymore. We're changing bosses.
Roger Daltrey swinging his microphone around.
Right? It's Neptune.
New boss. Swinging at the old boss.
But isn't that true, Leah? Neptune is like a hallucinogen, but if you didn't get a different perception, how would we ever change, right? That's so true.
Right. Just looking through water. Just looking through water. If you go into a lake and you open your eyes when you're in that water, you're going to get things that you never saw before.
Right.
Even if you put the goggles on, you're going to see things a little more clearly, but you're still going to see things that you didn't see before. You look at water through a glass and it bends.
Yeah.
If you go fishing and you throw the line into the water and you think you're looking at the fish, no, the fish is not where you see him. The fish is a little bit over there. So you got to go far enough up that he is fooled by the worm or the lure that you have on as you begin to reel it in, right? Because you don't want to tweak him to let him know that somebody's dropped a fishing line. You don't know how many times he was already thrown back because he was too small. I one time caught a German brown trout in the harbor in Marquette, Michigan. This guy was, I don't know, 17, 18 pounds. He did not know that he was on the hook until he came up and looked at me. And he went straight down 80 feet. And I fought him for 20 minutes to bring him up, weigh him, and throw him back in.
Oh my goodness.
Because you don't eat a 20-pound German brown trout. You just, anybody who has lived that long deserves to keep living.
Keep on going, right?
Yeah. I mean, he was pulling the 2-horse around here.
Oh my gosh. I haven't gone fishing in a long time, but yeah, you're right.
That was a long time ago. I've got a picture. Now, talk about silly. I was pregnant with my first son, Nicholas, and there's a picture of me. It's late winter, so there's a bit of a spring thaw going on, and we're down by the electric plant, so there's a warm water feed, so there's fish hanging out there because there's algae there, right? And I'm out on the water on the frozen Lake Superior with my brother-in-law and a buddy of mine who is a reporter for the local newspaper was sitting up on a hill, and he goes, I know who that is. I can't believe that those people are out there. Are they understanding how precarious it is? So I'm following Mark, and we're just walking along. And the next, I get to Mark, and I said, we got to go back. The sun is setting. I hear shit cracking. Let's go.
Yeah.
So we turned around and walked back to the shore. Next day in the newspaper, and I've got the newspaper over there, is a print of me calling me out for being in a precarious position on Lake Superior, like
again.
the year after the Edmund Fitzgerald. Are you nuts?
Oh man, really? Wow. I remember you showed me that picture when we first met. That's so crazy. Yeah.
It was a beautiful day.
Yeah. She's adventurous. Ice fishing. Well, I think we all were, right?
Or just dumb, I was just doing because I always need to explore. That's the Sag, and I always I can't stop moving. That's the Gemini. And
she can't.
So
she can't relax.
Yeah, it's really hard for me right now, but it's getting better. It's getting better all the time.
See, I love fishing too. Oh my God, everybody likes fishing.
Well, and I don't do that anymore because I don't eat meat at all. And back then I didn't eat beef or chicken, but my husband was an avid fisherman. He should have started a business as a guide. Unfortunately, it didn't go that way, but he should have, because when it came to hunting and fishing, he knew all the secrets. And mind you, we lived in the Upper Peninsula where Ernest Hemingway spent his childhood right with us and in that same area. And he fished as a kid and wrote the Nick Adams stories all about fishing the mouth of the Big Two-Hearted. And we winter camped at the mouth of the Big Two-Hearted a couple of times just to be there for the morning fishing.
Goodness.
It was too cold, but he was avid.
Yeah, I give it to you. I couldn't do it. I give it to you. Oh my goodness. So moonstone. What other crystals would be good for Amanda Carroll to put up with her moon water tonight?
Oh, well,
Always clear quartz. That always amplifies.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And we're in Scorpio, and Scorpio can be magic. And it's not like he's getting out of this anytime soon, right?
No.
I'm getting out of Scorpio, but there's still a couple of days of Taurus left. So I would put grounding stones, things that you like, carnelian,
Mhm.
certainly to keep things calm while you perform your own magic. Pink quartz, rose quartz, strawberry quartz,
I'm looking for.
ebony. Ebony would be great.
Yeah, any black
Selenite.
stones. Even if you just do crystal and a black stone, any
Yeah.
one, that it'll balance things. It'll keep that water clear.
Yeah.
Oh goodness.
Who else?
I
What
had so many.
turquoise would be good too.
Yeah, turquoise
Help you with
or
your voice, because
aquamarine.
he's got a lot coming in as we go through this month.
Larimar. Oh my God, I love my Larimar. It's in my bra. Or I would grab it.
Labradorite, that's another one, labradorite, because
Labradorite, yeah.
his egress out of water into fire, and labradorite can give you that opalescence of both water and fire.
This is gold tourmaline.
Oh, there you go.
Lines in it, see?
Rainbow fluorite.
Mm-hmm. Oh no, I just dropped the little one. This is oh geez, my brain just went, not shungite, the other one. So
yeah, I got an orb right up there on
the black one. Oh my God, I can't think. My brain has been offline today with this
Moldavite. Moldavite.
Oh, Moldavite. That's a Scorpio stone for sure. Any of the
vitamin stones.
Yeah, what are these? Here's a black one.
Vitamina veggie.
And I have a brown one.
Vitamina vegemin.
Oh, did I
Lucy.
that one? Here, this is. These are all from asteroids. All from asteroids hitting the Earth. Anything will work, but I always, at least if nothing else, start out with crystal and any black stone.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, hematite. That's a good one.
Hematite too. That's a very protective stone.
Yeah. I mean, and this is, remember, this is a clearing moon, emotional, deep baggage clearing. If you could do something for yourself, a little ceremony to release, if you feel like you have a lot stuck in there anywhere or something
in the jar. Wishes on bay leaves.
Yes, did that today. Did the sage. I did my cinnamon. I did a candle with cinnamon. And
each bay leaf that went into the pickle jar had a wish attached to it.
Yep. Yep. I did that on, I did most of the wishes. I did that on the Taurus new moon. Not that you can't do that tonight. I'm not saying you can't, but this is really a good night to release.
Well, you can write the things you want to close.
Yeah. Well, and burn it. Yeah, absolutely.
Pickling it, it went in to be pickled, so it is going to be a slow cooking.
Yes, a ritual for release. Yes, Cheryl, it is really good. Use these energies, utilize them. Okay, good word. Diana and I were talking about this earlier, Leah. It felt like something creepy.
Yes. Oh my God, it is so beautiful.
Harmonize the crease.
Well, and then If you have, it's on Prime, and it is, so far there's only 2 episodes, and it's about the octopus. It's worth watching. It is very good. And what's that comedian's name? Something Fox. Not Jamie Foxx. Is it Jamie Foxx? He has an aquarium in his house, and he got tired of, he no longer keeps octopi because they only live 3 or 4 years, and it made him too sad because they're such wonderful creatures. But this show on the octopus is so cool. So if you have Prime, watch it. And that's what it's titled, Octopus.
You can put your stones outside. You can put them in the windowsill.
Yeah.
A lot of times on the full moon, because I mean, I don't have a place outside, so I'll just open my blinds and there's crystals everywhere in here and just let the moon pour in.
The moon is up there.
Yeah.
I sometimes, when I'm going to charge them all at the same time, they all get a little bath, except the selenite or anything else that's going to melt in water. Yeah. And then I just put them on on a bed that's in a guest room, because that's the window that moon shines in all the time.
Yep. I did that. I did the cleansing on the new moon in Taurus too, because that was a good manifestation moon to call in, and you want to keep everything clean. But I mean, you can do that anytime. There are no rules. It's what do you feel like you want to bring to your little ceremony? How do you want to do it? And that's all personal.
This is the flowering moon.
Yeah.
So it is, the buds are beginning to open on the trees.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
Yeah.
My Crimson Queen, which is one of those spreading maples, the red leaf spreading maple. She is so regal this year. And here's a story that can help with waiting the right time. I wanted one of these trees since I moved here, because I never had one in Virginia, and I couldn't find a place to put it. There were so many beautiful dogwoods, there just wasn't a place to put it. So I've been watching this maple at a nursery for 3 years, and it was the same one in the same pot, and always the last one there. And I had built a relationship with this tree. Trees build relationships with us. And it got down to September, and she was there still in the pot, and she's gotten bigger, but she's like a fish in a tank. It's only going to get as big as the tank allows it. Mm-hmm. And so I brought her home, stuck her in the ground. And what you need to know is, if you miss the spring planting, you got to wait till you get to a month that ends in ER to plant a tree or a shrub. I put her in the ground, and then the winds and the frost and the winter came and went. And I did post on my channel a little short about this story, but I need to go take an updated picture, because she has just, all those little leaves that were on her are now spread out wide open, and she's got a beautiful shape. I'm just so excited that this was a relationship. Plus, she was on sale when I was able to finally buy her. So that was another plus.
That's awesome. Yes, Leah, I'd say stock up on all this stuff, and we don't know what's going on in this world of
What is indica? What is indica?
It's a kind of cannabis that
Oh,
that you can buy indica or
I don't know. It was just pot.
yeah, they have all these
I don't
different
know
names
all these
now.
names anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, all these new names and all these different ways of smoking it, and comes in oil,
Oh my God.
like a vape. You can get it just
I
like
just
that.
want good old Mexican weed so I can focus, clean the house, not stop till
You
it's done,
can't find it.
sing all day long.
Yeah, they got some wicked stuff out there. Some of
Oh,
this stuff,
scary.
man, woo,
Yeah, some of it's scary.
strong. Yeah,
It's
it's
not,
strong.
it's not what I'm used to.
Aw, that's cool. That's cool, man. That she got her little maple growing.
Ah, thank you, Amanda.
The pain relieving type. Yes, absolutely. That's the only type. That's it. Leah, stevia is the
Yeah.
other one.
Well, CBD without any
Stevia
THC, sativa.
is sativa. Makes
It
you good.
doesn't
Yeah.
have THC. That does definitely helps relax.
Yeah. And that's, that's kind of a big thing this week. Well, we've been under a lot of pressure since 2020, and our nervous systems are taking a hit constantly.
Yeah, we all got PTSD.
We all got what? I'm sorry.
PTSD.
Mm-hmm. We absolutely do. And our nervous systems keep being just pushed to beyond
Nth
the edge.
degree.
Yeah.
Push to
And
the nth degree.
that's why we always meditate, or we're breathing, doing exercises, doing something to get that, regulate that nervous system, because it's so important. Um, I'm having a show with Dragonfly Crystals Val Klingenbach on Friday about the nervous system. So yeah, we're going to talk about that. Hi, Hugger Greeter and Mary Starshine. We need to ask what star system. What is this? Cannabis came from. It's clearly a gift when respectful. Yeah,
There is an answer, but I couldn't
there
tell you
is.
what it is off the cuff right now. But I know that there is an answer because I've heard it, read it,
I
and
do
looked at it.
too. Is it Arcturus? No, I don't think it's Arcturus. I mean, Andromeda. I can't remember.
Well,
But my goodness. We love hanging out with y'all. I love hanging out with you, Diana, helping us get through this astrology.
yep.
Reevaluate to recreate. I wrote that down. So that is, we are recreating ourselves. So
Yep.
what is it that you want to experience, and how do you want to feel? And think about that, allow the past to be the past so you can grow if you're
Right.
struggling
Every
there.
day's a new normal.
Yeah. We love you very much, and we will be back on.
Look for the good things. Just always look for the good things.
Absolutely.
It
27th
only
again.
ever it will only ever be what you make out of it.
Right? Because it's our perception, right? And we gotta look at our dream and our wishes, and believe that we can attain them, and know that exactly what we wish to experience, we can experience. Feel it before it comes in, because once you add feeling to your wish, makes it real.
You might,
So,
right? You might hate your job, but what can you like about it? If nothing else, there's a paycheck at the end of it all.
right, that's right. Right. There's
And
so much.
we all need that because we do have one foot in the 3D world.
Yeah, we do. Yes, we do. So the new moon is in Gemini on the 27th. This is where we're going to bring all those ideas come flooding in, and all the things that you want to dream, your dreams, how to make them happen. But let this Scorpio moon do its thing to release anything that it could potentially be holding you back from you experiencing and living the life of your dreams. Don't give up. We came here for a big mission, and we deserve to live a beautiful life too, and to live in for our preferences and desires. But thank you all for being here. We love you very much, and we'll see you the next time. Hi, Gwen. Gwen's been watching us on the TV. Nice to see you.
Oh, on the big screen.
Yeah. We are becoming Nova Illuminous beings. Oh, I love that, Mary Starshine.
Right?
I love it.
Superstar.
I love it. We love you all very much.
That's beautiful. Nova Illuminous being.
I know.
Oh, talk about healing.
Uh-oh.
Let me add this one thing.
Sure.
Okay. Most of you know I've been going through something for a while, and it's, let's say part of it is becoming this crystalline instead of carbon based, right? Getting that carbon based being.
Mm-hmm.
And so and you probably all know about me breaking out covered in hives from avocados, and I can no longer eat them because of the latex carryover. And I know I have a latex allergy because of major surgery. So that's the area that broke out, and this arm was just like this in hives.
Mm.
So I'm still itching through my midriff and waist, because that's where most of that tape was for more than 2 weeks before they realized that I was allergic to this stuff. And what has happened is, you get little bumps along the way as we age. You sit in somebody's swimming pool and you get those little white dots all over. Well, all of that stuff has begun to go away, and even more so since I had the hives. So that was included somehow. Now on my back, I've got a beauty spot I've had my whole life. And from the time that I had that surgery 30 years ago, it didn't really change shape or grow, but it did raise up a little bit. And these itches that are still bothering me on my back, where that is, that has been a part of it. And I had, like doing the Baloo kind of back scratch, the bear on the tree scratching my back, because I don't want to do something silly and crack it open or do anything like that. And the day before, I reached around the back just to feel it. It's almost gone. It's almost, I can't see it because of where it's located without getting a mirror out, but it's almost gone. It's flat to the skin again. It hasn't been like that since 1996.
And that's true, right? Like we are healing.
What do we store in our moles and beauty spots? What kind of toxin was building up in there that now is dissipating?
Right. And that goes for all the healings that we have. Well, I went through a lot of different healings.
So
boy, think about it.
Like that, little things like that we're all going through that you may not even really have been aware of. But go looking, go hunting, go understanding, and see if little tricky things like that are working out in your favor.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm seriously was very surprised.
Mm-hmm. And remember, you can help. The sun is healing us, even though it's kind of intense. But those solar flares really do blast through our cells and help us clear out the pain, trauma, the blocks, and all that.
Yeah.
And anything that is still plaguing you in any way, I mean, you can heal that with the sun. You can heal that by yourself, really. Call in different lights, gold, sparkly light into your cells, all that kind, down into your bones. There's so much we can do. And we are, like I said, we're the new era. And we are bringing in these energy healings, like how many energy healers are here, right? Love
Yeah.
workers, light workers, energy healers, Reiki masters. Well, that Reiki master, Diana's a Reiki master, but it's Diana's energy that is sending out that Reiki. So it's, yes, it's Reiki, but it's also your individual energy. And you are that strong that you can heal others. You can certainly heal yourself.
And
You
it's
know?
not one of those things that happens overnight, you know?
Right. It takes time. It does.
You have to work at it. You have
Hmm.
to stick to it.
Yeah. And
Good days,
and
bad days. But
yeah.
you didn't get this way overnight. It was a process that you could have gone through not even being aware of. Hello.
Right. And don't
I
give up.
didn't know what I did to my hip. I've been doing standing splits for a long time, but I pushed the limit.
We never give up. Right,
Never.
Mia's got it up there. Don't give up. You still have us. That's right. We never give up. And we're remembering more of who we are. We're walking each other home, and as we're remembering things, we're bringing in new. Oh yeah, and it's so simple. It seems so simple. We're taught to go to the doctor, get on some medicine, and do this and do that. And I'm not saying that doesn't work, but there's a balance,
Yeah.
And I think we are much stronger than we've been led to believe when it comes to our healing and helping others heal.
Oh my God. I'm sorry about that. Play, love, remember.
Oh,
Eczema on the bottom of your feet. My goodness. After moving back to New England. Well, like I'm back in Michigan too. And it's
castor oil.
I certainly didn't have my sea legs when I first got here. And
Right.
all of these solar flares are proving to me you still don't have your sea legs. Because there's water everywhere. I have an artesian well, and an artesian spring sometimes runs through my backyard, and there's a lake at the end. You can't go anywhere without seeing a lake or a marsh or a downright swamp.
I love Steve Noble, Mary Starshine. Yeah. I mean, it's true. There's all kinds of that healing water is powerful. I use castor oil for everything, especially skin issues. I don't know if you still have that Play Love Remember, but try that. Amanda Carroll, what in the world?
My hip is set up. I used to pop it in and out of socket like a party trick. Big mistake. Yep. Gotcha, girlfriend.
Ow.
I mean, I'm not bragging, but my leg was straight up. And that last time I did it, I heard nothing pop.
Ooh.
I felt no pain.
Like
I just went to the ground in a child's pose and said, I can't do that. But I only said it meaning today. And I was doing it outside in the sun. But at that time, I still didn't realize what the solar flares were doing. This was 2 years ago. And so I walked on it. The lesson that you learned, quit doing the party trick, right? And I walked on it for another year before I finally sought out help with the chiropractor. And I hope it's not too late. I'm almost at a year with him, but I'm willing to give it more time, of course. And also, I'm going to look for an acupuncturist as well. I'm sure that that's going to help, especially after, I mean, as bad as it can be some days, it was so much worse when I first started going to him. And now it's really only the most troublesome when I'm in the damn sun. I went to take a walk yesterday. When I walked in the shade, I was able to keep everything in alignment. The minute I got in the sun, it's like I melted. I'm not a vampire, but I wake up when the sun goes down.
So. Well, and that's part of your healing right now. For some reason, it's showing itself up like that. But like Diana was saying, you got to pay attention to these things too, though, right?
This has been my whole life. But the truth of the matter is, when I was a child, had seizures, did not have epilepsy. Every time there was a seizure, a test was run and it came back negative. They could never find anything wrong with me till I moved to Virginia. And in 1989, when they had made progress with blood tests, it was discovered systemic lupus. That's been my issue all my life. And it is triggered by the sun. And that explains why I wake up when the sun goes down.
It's strange
Plus,
how
I
our
probably
bodies
have
work.
a Venus night star.
Yeah, I mean, our bodies are just like, and
We're
again, right?
amazing
Like
creatures.
knowing your chart, that helps you understand a lot of this stuff. And there's all different types of astrologers, medical astrologers. I mean, there's just so many ways you could look at things.
We are amazing, amazing.
Oh, I like her, Millie. She is of the
Creature.
woods. She is a good herbalist. We are amazing creatures.
Well, and I made one for feet that I was trying to help people who have neuropathy. And anybody can do this. I made it into a salve, but all you got to do is get oil, right? And the dried herb. So I took dandelion for healing and calendula for the way it helps the skin. And remember, they're in the basic same family. I mixed the calendula with almond oil, and I mixed the dandelion with castor oil, and I put those two together and made a salve. But you could do the same thing with just mixing with oil if you don't want to go to the trouble of making the salve. Because you know how castor oil, how thick it is. So using that almond oil gives it ability to penetrate a little more quickly, especially on the bottom of your feet. That would be a big help.
And your bottom of your feet is like one of the best places to rub things to for healing.
Right? It's like when you do the lymph nodes, right? When you do the lymph node clearing. So when you get into the bottom of your feet, you're opening up the organs throughout your body. As well, you're activating this lung, that lung, your kidneys, this side, that side, the thymus. So the reflexology of rubbing the bottom of your feet.
I put castor oil in my belly button every day.
Yeah, a lot of people do that. I don't have a belly button anymore ever since that surgery.
Oh, no. And the bottom of my feet.
But yeah, no.
You know, I heard that too, Amanda. And yeah, I was born at like 8:57 p.m. And I was always a night person. I just always work nights. Now I don't know. I get up at 5 or 6 and I'll go to bed like right after this.
Well, I was born at 2:55 in the afternoon. So I was an afternoon child. You know, by the time they got me cleaned up and gave me to my mom, it was night. Because you're talking about in the old days when you stayed in the hospital for 3 days.
Yeah, they don't do that anymore. Kick you right out.
Yep, get out of here. Go home and heal.
Yeah, they're horrible. They're like, God, I can't walk. They don't care. 5:55. I love that birth.
I love that. Yeah, 5:55. That's awesome.
8:44.
Well, it's PM. So, you know, you're not, well, for you, 5:55, I've forgotten where you were born, but that's the nighttime. You're a Scorpio, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So you have
She's
dark
born out of the country.
But it was a full moon for me too. So I come to life when Sagittarius. I come to life in the moon. That's where my moon's at. That's where for me, logically, it's where I find a lot of solutions to emotional issues.
Are you up at 1:23 a.m., Mary? I wonder. Yeah, a lot of emotion. Well, goodness, I have a Leo moon and a Cancer sun. I've not nothing but emotions. Everything. Now I've gotten to where it's cleared out and balanced. But wow, when I was younger, I was not balanced. I can say that.
Your haircut is cute, by the way.
Ah, thank you. Thank you. I can't believe I did it. Finally cut my hair off. I don't know. It's been so long for so long. I don't know. I just and you know what day? That was the day Pluto went in retrograde. And it was
But
just
he's
like
not
that.
leaving Aquarius. It was just that lightning bolt moment. Let's do it
Yeah.
now and create a new style and
Yeah,
grow
that's what they
into it.
yeah, that's what they said too. They're like, by next year you'll be getting like I don't even care anymore. I was so sick of messing with it and blow drying it. I mean, it was you know how it says. Thank you, Amanda.
Yeah, my hair hasn't seen a blow dryer in ages. And as I was standing over steaming water quite a bit today.
Oh man. And yes, Val, and I
Oh,
know. Oh,
I'm
see
glad
there?
that it wasn't while you were in it, honey.
Yeah. No, and she's a night owl. Mika, how are you? Another Scorpio. Lots of Scorpios in here tonight. And you guys, do your little ceremony. Do
Right?
something to say here. Take it. I'm done. And call in what you rather feel, what you
Yeah.
prefer. When is the next good haircut day? Amanda, always on a new moon. So it's around the 27th. Always
So
get your hair cut and your nails done or stuff like that on a new moon.
I pulled some cards for today. And
Ah,
um,
too.
this is what I got. And I love this deck. It's just so much fun. And we need to have some fun. And we're,
Yes.
oh, the box fell on the floor. But it is radical abundance.
Oh, those are cute.
Yeah, it is Bigfoot, right? So for us, the first card is wisdom. So all your health is about your own wisdom. Keep track of yourself, what works, what doesn't work, right? And
Hmm.
then good old Uranus.
Uniqueness.
You are unique.
I love it.
And
Yeah.
Uranus is going to go into Gemini soon.
Yeah.
So stand firm in your uniqueness. Let's say the wisdom of the body,
Oh, yeah.
the uniqueness of our minds, every
Yeah.
single one of us,
Yeah.
the spirit is patience.
Mm.
Look, in the moon, in the antlers, we have the eggs and the bird, and she's not sitting on the eggs. You got to go sit on them. Be patient.
Mm.
And
And
then the
some,
grounding comes with understanding. Give it
yeah.
thought, give it time, that
Yeah.
patience. And then the clarity comes when you are standing in awareness.
Mm.
And
So,
from that, we have the rising energy of security.
oh, I
Being
love
secure
that.
in yourself makes others secure in themselves while they're around you, that you're not going to create harm, and you set the example.
That is a really, I mean, that was perfect reading for exactly what everything we're talking about tonight.
Exactly. And when I moved the security card, we got love.
Ah,
Love is the drug I've been searching for.
yeah, love is a drug. With it, Diana, I think you may have just given me my answer to lupus. Excuse me. Long ago, out of nowhere, my mother said, "I think you gave lupus."
She gave her lupus. I think I gave.
Oh, I give
Um,
it.
I gave. Okay, I'll give to ask my guides. We'll talk about the building once fixed. I'm good. Okay.
Hmm. Let's see, Mary
Well,
Starshine.
it is the sun in
Mm,
9 out of 10 people, I mean, that have this. And the other thing is, you know, the drugs we're on can help cause that too. And there are two types. There's discoid,
yeah.
which is eczema like, and then so the bottom of your feet could have something to do with that as well. And then if you're getting cancer treatment, that could cause eczema. That could also cause SLE because it's in your system. So, systemic erythematosis is what lupus is, and it's called SLE.
Mm.
In the short version of saying systemic lupus erythematosis.
So,
But for me, it's definitely the sun that triggers it.
in all of these autoimmune diseases, I mean, this is just what and I'm sure it happens to divine masculine too, but the divine feminine really,
Right.
I mean,
Because we go through more monthly changes besides, and men can definitely have this, but
sure.
it is a rarer occasion. And back when I was a kid, they just thought that lupus was an old person's disease, and if you didn't die from it, they misdiagnosed it. Well, you can live a healthy life with it. And these solar flares are kicking everybody's butt, especially if you have any kind of an autoimmune issue. Rheumatoid arthritis, rheumatism. Think about it. All of that stuff falls under the same category as a autoimmune issue. What triggers it for you? Foods can trigger it. So this is us taking charge of ourselves, figuring out what works for you, and don't let anybody stand in your way of doing what your gut is telling you to do. Because if it makes you sick, it's telling you something.
It's telling you, yeah. It was so strange, the things that would trigger I had fibromyalgia, and I'm not saying I don't have it, but I get flare-ups rarely now. Nothing like I lived through. Millie has Lilith in Scorpio, and wow, that's where Lilith is, and she's not taking no nothing.
Oh, no prisoners, man.
And you got that right, Millie, because she is not. She's in Scorpio.
She don't want to be
now
with nobody. She got enough of herself to deal with.
She's like, let's clear it. Whatever it is, we're going to clear it. Any fears we come, with Black Moon Lilith. If you decide to work on your fears, she works with you through that fear. So allow that energy to come through. I picked this one, enlightenment. Look from the highest perspective. See the divine in everyone.
Ah, that's gorgeous.
Isn't that pretty?
So I was just shuffling and cut the deck, and what did I get? I love it. Acknowledgement, and look at all the crystals coming out.
Oh, I love that.
And from the divine feminine, the Mother Mary deck, Our Lady of Quiet Blossoms. And it is the flowering moon. The little blossoms are coming out. Right? Cool for all of us.
I love that. I love that. Yeah, go out and get some of this moon. Let this moon infuse you with the strength to be yourself, to be ourselves, right? Yeah. It does. It takes strength and courage to be ourselves, especially now. What we're coming into our own. It's just so cool. Crazy time to be alive.
It sure is. So shall we say goodnight?
I think so. We love you all.
Yeah,
and we will
love
see
to everybody.
You on the next and the new moon in Gemini. You guys be safe. We love you. Have a great evening. Thank you, Diana.
Oh, thank you, Valerie.
We love hanging out.
Bye-bye.